Welcome back to another edition of Cleaning Business TV. We are so excited you joined us today as we're going to talk about finding your niche in business. Every business needs to know why they're in business, and they need to be able to operate in a market that is specifically their own. So, Ron,
you
tell
mean
us a little bit
you
about
don't just open a business and people just call you or walk in the door and start giving you money? That's not how it works?
Yeah, no, that's how it works. We're going to tell them how to do that from day one. But I didn't do this, but I'm David Luke, Vice President of Operations, and with me is...
I'm Ron Holt, CEO and founder of said company, Two Maids and a Mop.
Good deal.
So David alluded to our topic today, our subject, finding your niche in your business, in our case, the cleaning industry. Mm-hmm. This talk that we're going to talk about we could talk about any business, but... Right. Obviously, it's this Cleaning Business TV, so we're gonna focus mostly on our industry. Let me talk to you a little bit about my evolution as the business owner of Two Maids and a Mop, and something that happened that I witnessed and said, hey, we can do the same thing in our business. And I think once I start talking more about it, it's going to hit home for you, the illustration of our story at least. When we started the business, I made a joke that you just open the doors and people start rolling in and writing you checks, but that's honestly how I thought it worked early on. You know, I said, hey, I'm Ron Holt. I want this really bad, and it should work, you know, right? So I literally did that. I opened the doors, and I've made this reference many times since we've started Cleaning Business TV, but in some cases, watch the phone and hope for it to ring. And after several months of staring at that phone and it not really that game not really working for me, I said, okay, we've got to do something different. Well, so before I talk to you about what we did differently, let me back up to the mid 2000s or early 2000s and tell you a little bit about something that was happening that you're going to be well familiar with. Have you ever heard of a company called Blockbuster? Does that ring a bell?
I've heard about it. They used to do videos.
Right. Now, 5-10 years from now, when there's thousands and thousands of people watching the archived footage, you're going to go, what's a Blockbuster?
Yeah, what's Blockbuster?
Blockbuster, everyone knows, was that's a key word, was a DVD rental retail shop. Had thousands of locations all over North America and dominated the industry. There were some others out there, Movie Gallery, Hollywood Video.
Video Warehouse.
Yeah, all gone, along with Blockbuster today. So what are we talking about? Why are we talking about Blockbuster when we're in the cleaning industry? Well, Blockbuster at the root rented DVDs to people like David and myself. You walked into this place and you rented it. And they, like I said, dominated the industry. And I also remember other people were trying to beat them, but they were trying to beat them in a way that they had almost no chance of winning in this particular way because they were playing the same game. Mm-hmm. They didn't change the game at all. All of a sudden, in the early 2000s, another company popped up, and this company was called Netflix. And Netflix, again, today, if you're watching this today rather than 10 years from now, you know who Netflix is. You're probably a Netflix customer, because everybody seems to be nowadays. Netflix did the same exact thing Blockbuster did. The root of their business was they rented DVDs, but they did it in a different way. They changed the game. And that changing, the way they changed the game was so different that Blockbuster really just didn't care. You know, like, hey, we're doing well, we're making money, we're growing, our stock price is increasing every day, our investors are happy, or shareholders are happy, I should say. So why do we care about this little website? Because that's all. When you boil down Netflix as a business, you know what it is?
A website.
It's a website. So how could a website beat our brick and mortar business? Thousands of locations all over North America where they did it. How do they do it? Again, changing the game. They both did the same exact thing. One company rented DVDs, the other company rented DVDs. They just did it in a different way. Mm-hmm. And over the course of several years, Netflix started to grab a significant part of that market share. And all of a sudden, Blockbuster had something to worry about. And Blockbuster said, hey, we got to get rid of this. They're killing us. So you know what they did?
Tried to pay them off.
For a lot of money, for millions of dollars, for, again, a website. And Netflix said no. And at the time, I'm sure it was very difficult to say no. But they said no, and Blockbuster said, well, if you're not going to go away by us buying you, then you know what we're going to do? We're going to do the same thing you're doing. We're going to chase you. So, which is ironic, because the reason Netflix was able to tackle Blockbuster is because they changed the game. So Blockbuster could have learned a little bit of a valuable lesson here and said, hey, instead of following the leader, maybe we should change our game a little bit. But they did the same thing most businesses do. They decided to chase the leader, using the same rules that the leader was following. And Blockbuster started their own Netflix-type service, and the end result is not Blockbuster didn't succeed, and they're today closed. In fact, they're bankrupt.
Yeah.
So the point of that is, I recognized a lot of this happening when we started Two Maids and a Mop. This story was evolving with the Netflix and Blockbuster battle, and I really said that, man. I remember telling lots of my friends and peers that Blockbuster one day would be bankrupt. And you say that in 2005, and you're
crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy. Hey, Travis. So anyway. I said, what can we do? We're in a cleaning business. At the time, we had very limited resources, and we had our own issues. We were hustling and getting out there, and we were growing. But I knew at some point, in order for us to scale this brand, we had to be different than just another fast or hardworking cleaning business. Because for me to go beyond the borders of Northwest Florida, which is we were started in Pensacola, Florida, we had to do more than just work hard. So I said, what can we do? Now, David, and hopefully you guys out there know this, and David, what's the one thing that we did almost 10 years ago now that really changed the game for our industry?
Well, we did pay for performance. Nobody in our industry was instituting a pay for performance system. Now, I want to explain to you what that is. Pay for performance is as simply as making an owner out of every one of our team members or every one of our employees. What that is we send a rating to every customer's home we clean. We send them an email with a simple 1 to 10 rating system. That rating system, in and of itself, just when that customer sends back their rating, that determines the pay of each and every employee. What did that do? That created an owner out of every single one of them. They took ownership overnight. They took ownership of what they were doing. They wanted to have good ratings. They wanted to have customers that were happy. That drove them because they knew that was going to directly affect their pay. And inversely, that made an owner out of every single one of our employees. Now, for us, that changed the game in the cleaning industry. I mean, nobody was doing that.
So David talked a lot about an ownership mentality, and that is a game changer. But you know what else it did? And we really didn't see this. We felt like we were creating a new niche for our business, but we didn't really know what the two things it was really going to bring to the table. The first thing was what David talked about, the ownership mentality.
Sure.
So it was an inherent motivational strategy for our employee base. But the second thing it did was create this unique selling proposition that no one in our industry, even today, can compete with. We're saying something different. We're saying something unique, and we're saying something that customers want to hear. I mean, who doesn't want to have the power to change your business? Because they do. Every time we clean someone's house, our customers actually have 100% control over what our employees are actually paid for that job. So it's a strong selling point that we can use over and over and over again. That's very difficult for anyone to really compete against because, again, no one's saying those things. And even the ones that we talk about this all the time, what we're telling you is a little bit of our secret sauce. But we tell this to people all the time. It's on every one of our websites. It's all over the place. You know what? In 10 years, no one's had the nerve to do what we're doing, to follow what we're doing.
And we always think, why in the world are people more not copying what we're doing? Because it's working so well. It's like, gosh, this is unbelievable.
Right. So now it works, but the reality is, and I had the same fear early on, is, oh my gosh, you mean I don't have any control over the compensation for my employees? That's scary. That could do the opposite of what I'm trying to do here, which is grow this business. This could close this business. But and there were some early struggles early on as we built the model out. But it really has become somewhat of a lifesaver for us because, again, there's no way we could have scaled to the level we are today. And what it's also done is allow us to not only dominate each of our markets, but it's allowed us to separate ourselves from the industry. Even though we're cleaning houses just like all these other guys, we're cleaning houses in a different way. So how do you do this? Now, I think there's two easy ways that you could dominate your niche, or create a niche, I should say, which would then allow you to dominate your local market. One way is a very direct, simple way. Buy a Two Maids and a Mop franchise.
Bingo! I like that idea.
So obviously, we're somewhat biased, but that is a simple way for you to get in. And I'm not trying to use this as a platform to talk about Two Maids and a Mop in a direct way, or to sell a franchise in a direct way. But the reality is, when you own a Two Maids and a Mop, as soon as you open, you're going to be able to say something different. You're going to operate in a different niche than anyone else in your local market. Now, if you don't want to go that route, there are still other things out there. You could do it the old-fashioned way, which is the way I did it, and that's just research, think, brainstorm, look at what's not going right in your industry and figure out a way to fix that issue. And once you fix it, then you got to figure out a way to market that niche, because you just can't create a niche and assume the market's going to find you. You've got to figure out a way to let people know about it. We're not here to tell you what the next niche is. If we knew that, we would already be doing it. But we do know that they're out there. Netflix is another great example. No one knew that online DVD rentals, which is streaming now, would be so popular. Blockbuster obviously didn't, but Netflix saw something there. So the underdog. The underdog role sometimes can really be an advantage for a business, because it allows you to focus on things that the big dogs, the leaders, aren't really focusing on, because things are going so well for them.
And we're the underdog right now.
We're definitely the underdog, but we're growing. We've said this multiple times as well. We're the fastest growing cleaning company in America.
Wow, that is right.
That was in 2013, and we're trying and we're hoping and we're crossing our fingers that we're going to be in 2014. We think we will be, because we've had some big numbers lately. So creating that niche is something that we've spent about 10, 12 minutes talking about, but it's going to go beyond this discussion. You're going to have to do your own research. You're going to have to, again, look in the mirror at your industry, not your business, at your industry, and say what's going wrong, what needs to be improved, and then start tackling it. The last thing you need to do is do what everybody else is doing. If you're in whatever city and the leader is whatever cleaning company and they're doing things in a certain way, do not believe that you need to do what they're doing in order to play that game, because you're going to lose eventually. You've got to figure out a different way to either sell your service, market your service, or provide your service in order for you to create a niche. So there's books out there. There's hours and hours of time. In our case, we didn't create this model overnight. It took hours and hours of planning. It took days and days of problems for us to diagnose, and it took weeks and weeks to fix some of those issues. Even today, our pay-for-performance model has some changes from time to time. So it evolves over time. But the truth is, it's still the same original concept.
Perfecting it over time.
Perfecting it. But it's the same model as we started in 2004. It's an ownership mentality model that allows the customer to really run your business. So most businesses, especially services businesses, are too scared to do that. And it's very difficult to do this in a retail business, by the way. But for service businesses, it's great, because at the end of the day, the service itself is what you're buying. Anyway, creating that niche could change the game for you if you find out what that particular niche is. So hope you've learned a lot today. And if you want to start streaming some Netflix videos out there, I don't know, do you have any recommendations?
Nothing right now.
All right, so if you can't find anything on Netflix, you just check some of the archives on Clean and Business TV.
Right, they can watch some Clean Business TV.
All right, guys, I hope you learned a lot today, and start developing your niche out there. See you next week.
Have a great day.